All right, so everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the BorazuwarahCTF challenge located over at Dockerlabs.es. This is a Docker container challenge, and let's demonstrate how to start these challenges. So for these Docker CTF challenges, the first thing we need to do is to download the challenge. So over at the description over here, there's a download link. I'm going to click on it, and that's going to bring me to the page where we can download the vulnerable Docker container. So inside the Docker container is a Linux machine that that's intentionally vulnerable, and we're going to be hacking against that Docker container. So I'm going to click on download, and that's going to start the download process. So it shouldn't take very long to download since these containers are pretty small. We're going to go over to our download directory over here, and we're going to see that the zip file that we downloaded is in our downloads directory. We're going to unzip the file with the unzip command. That's going to give us two files, an autodeploy.sh script and another tar file over here. So you might think that we need to unzip this tar file, but we actually don't need to do that. So we're going to use the autodeploy script to deploy the Docker container. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make that script executable with this command over here, chmod +x, and then the name of the script. Then we need to run the script. So we're going to do /autodeploy.sh and then the name of the tar file. And the name of the tar file is BorazuwarahCTF.tar. We're going to run the script, and then we're going to see this banner over here from Dockerlabs. We're going to see a message that says that we are now deploying the vulnerable machine. Please wait a moment. Okay, so after that, we get our IP address. So the IP address here is the IP address we need to use to access the vulnerable Docker container. So the IP address is going to be the same almost every time. It's going to be 172.17.0.2. We can copy this, and then we can access the machine and scan it using Nmap. I'm going to go to another tab. We're going to run Nmap on this IP address here, and these are the parameters we're going to use with Nmap. It's going to be Nmap and then -p-, which is going to scan all the ports. We're going to do -vv for very verbose output, which means we're going to see output before the scan is finished. We're going to run common scripts and versioning information against whatever services we find with this argument here. And then we're going to run it very fast, but not too fast, with this argument here for 4 threads running Nmap. The last thing we need to provide is the IP address, and then we run the scan. Okay, so what do we have on this box? So we find that there are 2 ports open on the container. We got port 22 and we've got port 80. Port 22 is running the SSH service, running the OpenSSH software with this version number right here. So the other thing is port 80. Port 80 is associated with the HTTP service, which is unencrypted web pages. It's running Apache software with this version right here. And what we need to do is we're going to inspect the web page associated with the web application. So we're going to go to our web browser, and in the web browser, we're going to paste in the IP address. But in front of the IP address, we're going to prepend it with http:// When we navigate to this page, the landing page, it looks like a Kinder Surprise egg. Kinder Surprise is is a candy. I don't know if it's originally from America or if it's originally from Europe, but it's a chocolate egg with a little toy inside. So there might be something inside this egg as well, which means that we need to inspect this image. So we're just going to right-click on it, and we're going to select Copy Image Link. After we do that, we're going to go over to our terminal again, and we're going to, let's see, inside of web enumeration, sure. Let's do wget to download this image right over here. So it's HTTP, this IP address, /imagen.jpg. All right, so we've saved the image file here, and what we can do, one thing that that we can do with image files is we can inspect the metadata associated with the image, and the metadata in image files, like the JPEG files over here, is called Exif data. So there's a tool that we can use to access the metadata called Exif tool. So we just run Exif tool with the name of the file, and it's going to give us all the metadata associated with the with this picture file. So we've got file size, we've got modification date, and settings, file type. But sometimes, especially in these CTF exercises, they hide information inside of these inside the Exif data. In this case, we've got a username, but we don't have a password. So the username is Borazuwarah. But okay, so we've got a username. If we have a username, but we don't have a password, we can do a brute force attack. So we're just going to copy this, and let's go ahead and use Hydra to do a little brute force attack. In this case, we're going to run it against the Borazuwarah user, and we're going to use the rocku.txt word list. And we can go ahead and provide the IP address. So the IP address is going to be 172.17.02. Let's go ahead and run this SSH brute force attack. So we were able to successfully brute force the user's password using Hydra. So the password was not very complicated at all. So let's go ahead and log into the server as this user. So we just do SSH to 172.17.0.2, and the user is, what is the user? It's this user. Okay, let's copy that. Okay, so we're going to log in as this user. Okay. So this is the problem with using the same IP address for a bunch of different machines, is that your SSH host file or the known host file is going to have the same IP address over and over again, and that leads to some problems. So we can use the SSH keygen file to remove this IP address from our known hosts. After we do that, we can try to log in again, and we can do so successfully. So 123456 is the password. Okay, so now we're logged in. Let's go ahead and call Scary Hacker Voice Man to talk about what was wrong with the system. So let's go ahead and call him up.
Hey everybody, it's me, Scary Hacker Voice Man. Scary Hacker Voice Man comes out every time we break into a server, and we just broke into this one. Well, Mr. BorazuwarahCTF administrator, it seems like you left some information inside of an image on your website. That was a big mistake. We were able to use Exif tool to grab the Exif metadata from the file, and we found your username. Well, maybe you knew about these security problems on your website, or maybe you decided to accept the risk. Well, you accepted the risk, and now
Okay, so we're now in, and we're acting as the Borazuwarah user. Let's find out whether or not this user can access any commands using the sudo command. So we're going to be using this command here to figure out if this user can run sudo with any commands. Sudo-L is going to list sudo permissions, and it says user Borazuwarah can run the following commands on this server, and all, no password, we can run bin bash. So bin bash is a terminal program, which basically means we can run the bash program as root, which means we can open up a root shell. So this is very easy. All we need to do to become the root user in this case is to run sudo bash. And since we have permissions without a password, we don't need to provide our password to run the program. And now, when we ask who am I, we're root, which means
what are you? I'm system root.
Okay, so everybody, we're very close to finishing this exercise. So for any one of these exercises, what we need to do is we need to enter the root directory after getting root access, and we need to read a file that's usually in the root directory called root.txt. Okay, so what we're going to do instead to prove that we compromised the system and we got the highest access is we're going to create a little file called graffiti.txt. So what are we going to put in this graffiti file? We're going to write HackerFrogs rule, and then we're going to tell the administrator what's wrong with the system. So in this case, please do not leave usernames in the Exif data on your picture files. Thanks, and have a great day. Okay, so because we're able to create this file, it proves that we have the highest level of access to the box. All right, so everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the BorazuwarahCTF box located at Dockerlabs.es. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out!
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.